Yeah, we're going to take a lot of heat for this one, but people really need to look what might happen down the road if we get into a war, if the dollar collapses. Everything will be up. Gas will be up. Food will be up a lot more. Yeah, we might be trading in silver and gold, and it might offset to $800 to $8,000 price of silver.
$800 silver. How does that make you feel? How about $8,000 silver? I know we're going to get all kinds of heat from even mentioning such extreme prices, but is it possible? And what would things look like in a scenario where we had such high precious metal prices? Who knows where gold would be? Today, we're honored to have our friend Coin Shop Chris back in the basement. He has some strong ideas about where the silver and gold price could go and what the situation could look like when we get to that point. Chris, welcome back to Ron's Basement.
Ron, I always enjoy coming back. Always.
Well, we enjoy having you. And on behalf of all the viewers, thank you. You're very generous sharing your information. And you and I were talking a little bit offline before we got on about this idea of like $800 silver, $8,000 silver. What do you want to tell the people out there in terms of the possibility of that happening?
It's possible, Ron. Yeah, we're going to take a lot of heat for this one, but people really need to look what might happen down the road if we get into a war, if the dollar collapses. We're not going to be pricing our silver and gold in the dollar. I can't even talk today as normal. But anyways, we got to look down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And if we get to these prices, everything's going to be going up. Everything will be up. Gas will be up. Food will be up a lot more. Yeah, we might be trading in silver and gold, and it might offset to $800 to $8,000 price of silver.
Yeah, people jump down our throats, Chris, when we talk about these prices, right? $800 silver, $8,000 silver. Hey, I'll give them something to even raise their blood pressure a little more. What about 80,000 or 800,000? I mean, if we get into a situation where a currency collapses, which, I mean, I don't want to be doom and gloom. I love my country. I love America, no doubt about it. But hey, look, eventually every currency throughout history has eventually collapsed. And, how much would an ounce of gold or an ounce of silver cost right now in Confederate dollars? I mean, Confederate dollars are essentially worthless, right? Except for maybe a collector value. So to say that these numbers could get that high, talk to somebody in Zimbabwe, talk to somebody in Venezuela, talk to somebody who lived in Weimar, Germany when there was hyperinflation. It seems preposterous, but it is within the realm of possibilities.
Well, like we've talked on another video on, an ounce of silver in Venezuela can buy you a pretty nice hotel room for family of 4, 1 ounce for a month. Mm-hmm. It can buy a family of 4 an ounce of silver for food for a month. Wow. We're talking what, about $30 silver after you buy it. Just right now with that 24, so we got $6 premium on most silver at this point. I mean, it's not crazy if people, we are so wide against the dollar. An ounce of silver, $25, and an ounce of gold is $2,000. We really need to get off the dollar thinking and really keep focus on the ounces we have. Because when the dollar collapses and when the dollars come rushing home with these BRICS nations gain away from the dollar on, we're going into hyperinflation. And gas is probably going to be $10 a gallon, if not more. A loaf of bread's going to be close to $7, $8, $10 a loaf. And silver and gold will shoot up. Bitcoin will probably shoot up too for a while, and people will figure out Bitcoin is not what it was made to be. You know, who we would thought Bitcoin would be at that price? Who would think Amazon stock would be at today's price? If we go back 25 years ago, when approximately Amazon started and we bought it for $1, no one would thought it would, you know, split 20 times it did 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I remember looking at Bitcoin when it was $10, right? And now it's 27,000. But if we want to talk about silver going from $20, $30 up to 25,000 or 80,000, we get met with fierce opposition. But there's no, I mean, and the argument can be made that silver is just as scarce, if not more scarce, and certainly more real, right? I mean, you know what I'm doing right now, Chris? Can you see me?
You're trying to find your Bitcoin, Ron.
I'm trying to find my Bitcoin. I just can't find it. And you know, not to get off on a Bitcoin discussion, but I always find it so interesting that every time I see a visual image conveyed regarding Bitcoin, it's always a gold coin, a precious metals coin. Have you noticed that?
Absolutely.
You know, what the heck? It doesn't make sense. So yeah, I mean, I think that we could definitely see these crazy high numbers. And yes, you know, you hit the nail on the head earlier. People think of everything in dollar terms, and people have, what do they call that? A recency bias, right? So people in America now have never been through any type of hyperinflation or a situation where their currency was radically devalued in a short period of time. And from what I understand about hyperinflations and rapid devaluation of currencies, it happens quickly, right? It kind of builds and builds, kind of like you know, have you ever been to a water park and seen those giant buckets they have in the kids area where it fills with water real slowly, and then at like the last second the whole thing dumps over? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It kind of reminds me of that, and that it might play out in that manner.
You know, like you know, these BRICS nations try and get away from the dollar, and they're doing it slowly. These dollars are coming home. They're sending back to our shores, and you know, the government's going to spend them, and we're going to go into hyperinflation, and your dollar is not going to be worth nothing. You'll be going to go to a store with a wheelbarrow full of cash, and they're not going to be worth anything.
Yeah, and that's the worst. Go ahead.
Then my question is to your audience, then what are you going to use for money? Let's say the grid goes down. You're going to use your Bitcoin? I don't think so. We can use silver and gold.
Yeah, you got silver and gold and whatever skills you may have, right? If you can paint, or you can you know a little bit about electricity, or you know, a guy like you who knows a lot about silver and gold, that'll be a skill that on top of your silver and gold, you'll be able to use that to provide value to other people.
Exactly, and we can always throw platinum in the mix too. I mean, you know, we can start talking platinum in the mix here. You know, and that's really coming from our friend Neil.
Neil Hahn, right?
Neil Hahn's Dynasty. I talked to him offline a few times, and he has a different way of thinking. It's all about your perceptive thinking. If I'm saying that right. You know, is how you think, is how you act. But you know, a lot of people, you know, and I'm not trying to make fun of anybody, but we think in dollar terms. I can't keep, you know, I hate to keep repeating that, Ron, but you know, we somehow we got to get our brains off that thinking.
Yeah, well, and we were programmed that way. I mean,
Exactly.
That's the reality, right? Just like you believe your name is Chris, and I believe my name is Ron, right? I also believe in the value of the name. We were from a very young age. My 11-year-old twin daughters have had a full dosage of, you know, programming regarding the value of the dollars, right? I mean, it's very hard to undo that. And I think that, you know, I don't know that you can ever permanently do it, but at least I think a lot of people in the precious metal sector have the awareness and understand like the difference between the value of a real ounce of silver or a real ounce of gold as opposed to paper money. And you know, Pat Holland talks about what's he call it, nominal confusion. That like we think of $100 bill, right? $100 bill, we compare it to itself. We don't compare it generally to anything else. We just think of $100 bill. In my mind, still $100 bill is very valuable. The reality is it only buys a third of what it would have bought 25 years ago. But in my mind, $100 bill is pretty much, it's the same thing, but it's not. Does that make sense, or am I talking
Absolutely.
crazy?
First Mining Gold is a development company advancing two of the largest gold projects in Canada, Springpole in Ontario and Duparquet located in Quebec. Each already has 5 million ounces of gold reserves, but exploration initiatives are underway at both projects to find even more gold. First Mining is well financed, has zero debt, and owns an interest in 4 additional Canadian gold development projects.
Look at the inflation calculator online, and you can put any year you want to what $100 was worth back then, what $100 is, what the inflation rate is. We will see some big numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, it's the information's right in front of us, and nobody's really paying attention what's really going on. And you know, you have some smart viewers, Ron. A lot of your viewers know what's going on, which is wonderful.
You know why, Chris? You know why? Because ducks fly with ducks.
That's right. And I just like to take this one opportunity to ask everybody to like, share, and subscribe. Share this information out. The more people who have silver and gold in their hands, the better off we all going to be in the long run.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to remind everybody, to say thank you to CoinShop Chris for joining us today. And if you want to see some more great content, go right here and check out this live stream. Chris, we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Ron. And we will see you soon too, sir. Bye-bye.